Your voice is our request. No one says it like you. You're better than the rest. Call us 216-271-0959. Questions, comments, complaints. We want all that and the kitchen sink. This is WOVU. Our voices united. We can't do it without you. Call on through.
Nine FM, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Her in the Huddle, WOVU's Look at Sports, featuring the First Lady of Sports, Rachel Hill.
Hey, yo, what's up? This is Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and today is a pretty exciting day. Lots of news going on, but I got my co-host with me, Willie Epting, who is a ways away in Texas. How you doing, Willie?
Cleveland! What's going on, Cleveland?
Cleveland is in crisis right now. And then we have our special guest. We have Chris McNeil from the Big Play Reflog Show. And Chris is one of my favorite follows on Twitter. Everything is just hilarious. And I reached out to him and like, man, I got to get you on the show. So glad that you can take time out to join us. You have a healthy dose of Twitter followers as well. So a lot of people like what you do as well as with your show. So thank you so much for being able to make it here today. What's going on with you, man?
Excited to be talking to both of you, Rachel and Willie. I tell you, every day you get something kind of weird out of Cleveland sports, and today is no different than any other. So I can't wait to get into it with you guys.
Yeah. So sometimes we do talk about issues on this show other than sports. We talk about social justice issues. I'm a Black woman in sports. So one of the things is I don't blend in these locker rooms. I kind of stick out. So my presence is there. But one of the things that we want to talk about is pretty much this week is the anniversary of the incident that happened with George Floyd and how it affected the world and how it also affected the sports world. So fellas, can you please give me your thoughts regarding how that incident changed you and how do you feel like it also helped shape sports as well? Chris, we'll start with you first.
Yeah, I tell you what, right after everything, you go back to where we were, right? We were just coming into the COVID stuff. And then all of a sudden the George Floyd stuff hits. And it was so striking at that time because it was so huge, right? The man was murdered by cops. And the fact that then became so political for some folks was just, it always drives me nuts. This man was killed by cops. He was murdered. And the fact that we're politicizing something like that, like it just frustrates and infuriates me. And I really think that brought it to light again. Unfortunately, we have to go through this, how many times, right? How many times are we going to see things like that happen before change actually happens? And it seems like every time we have some progress, right? Yes, I'll see some progress of some sort. Hopefully there's meaningful progress because you hate to see, well, first of all, you hate to see anybody murdered like that. But then secondly, you hate to see then they die and then nothing changes out of that. And I think that's really the lesson for me, is seeing not only the reaction of people, which I thought in many cases was completely disgusting, of people who didn't see it as, hey, this man was murdered. And then other people who were really taking to the cause and really motivated to do some things. And hopefully we continue to see strides. But anytime things like this happens, and it's going to continue to happen, unfortunately, in this country, and that's just a sad state of where we are. Unfortunately, I thought we were a lot farther than what we were. But I hope it's a marker now, a year in, hopefully next year progress has been made again, and then we can continue on, because I hate seeing this cycle of just death and nothing coming of it. So that's kind of my take. I think overall, and I really hope that we're able to move forward and continue to make progress in this country.
And what do you think about the impact it's had on the sports world as well?
Well, yeah, it's to me, it's very interesting. You see sports like the NBA. The NBA very progressive, and they've always been very progressive. And they glopped on to Black Lives Matter, to the entire movement from an early state, and I like to see that, And then you have like the NFL. The NFL was always taking this. Well, I don't know, they're never taking a full-on stance for Black Lives Matter. And haven't taken a full-on stance because of their weird kind of position, I guess, with whether it be sponsors or whatever else. They just will not embrace it the same way that the NBA, being as progressive as they are, and same with Major League Baseball, kind of throwing it in there. But we've come to a point where I think that athletes should make their opinions known. I think that they are role models. They are, in the social media world, we want to know. It's just like companies anymore, right? Companies can't exist and say, hey, we're not political. We're just going to be in this bubble of ours. You have to take stances. You have to let your opinions be known out there. Otherwise, what are you doing? And I think that's the same thing as an athlete. I think it just comes off as completely disingenuous, really, if you're not taking a stand at all, and if you're being completely quiet while still trying to push a product, push being an entertainer, push being, hey, buy tickets and watch me. I want to be out there, but at the same time, I'm not going to tell you how I really feel. So I think it's important that athletes continue to be continue to take those stands out there, and I think leagues should as well. And I think that's going to be the key. I think that's why the NBA, for example, has done such a nice job of connecting with fans. I think the NFL really tries to straddle two kind of universes and doesn't do a very good job with it. The product's great. Obviously it's the biggest league in America. But at the same time, they don't approach diversity. They don't approach things like this very well, I don't think, in my opinion. Now, that's me as a white guy, right? Just a white guy sports commentator. That's what I see on the outside.
Okay,
so
yeah.
I don't know how much credence I bring to the conversation at times, but that's what I see on the outside. I'll be interested to hear what you guys think. What do you think on that, Willie?
Well, I let me turn my volume down a little bit here because I don't want to be louder than the main host.
You're fine. You're good.
I wasn't yelling. Am I over here yelling?
No,
you're fine.
Look, I have a lot to say about this subject, obviously. But let me first and foremost say this about you, Chris, because this is the first time you and I have met. And the thing that you said that really resonated was conversation. And you're willing to have the conversations that a lot of people are fearful of having. In terms of 1 year later, where we are as a society, the only place that I feel like we are is a little bit more outraged because, yeah, we saw it unfold thanks to social media, thanks to technology with camera phones and video phones or whatnot. But how many other instances have we seen since then where other black men and women, for that matter, have been killed? And for people that's saying that Colin Kaepernick is a POS. Now, I think the NFL kind of crawfished when they said we were wrong. Well, you were wrong when it first happened, when you first didn't support the man the way that he should have been supported. So it took somebody dying in the same fashion that a silent protest took in order for you to open your eyes and say, yo, okay, we missed it on this. So, and for people out here that are continually saying that, how can we mortalize a career criminal? Well, okay, the same way that Jefferson Davis had statues made after him, the same way that presidents that we had in the beginning owned slaves, the same way that Robert E. Lee had streets, high schools, middle schools, elementary schools named after him. So to say that to me is really hypocritical in the sense that, yeah, it may not have been a crime back then, but it's still a crime against humanity. And just because George Floyd struggled with addiction made him no more or less qualified, if you will, for the lack of a better term, to be killed the way that he was. And for people that are saying that are trying to justify that, man, I mean, what you need to check your ticker, number one. And then number two, you don't have blood running through your veins. You got gasoline, diesel fuel, kerosene, or something. Because to have that type of attitude and mindset after everything that we have been crying about, that has actually been put on video for 350 to 450 years, that tells a lot in itself.
There are times where I sit back and I think, what's really changed in the last 20 years or something? And the biggest thing that's changed is cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
It's that I'm seeing these things now, right? We would hear about these things, white guy, suburban guy, right? And I'd hear about these issues, people being pulled over, driving while black, all of these issues that people deal with. It I had never experienced, so I couldn't talk to experiences at seeing that sort of thing. And every time I would hear about it, I'd say, well, okay. And there's always that party is saying, well, what are they doing wrong, right? And that's the wrong way of thinking. And now you start looking at cell phone videos, you say, oh my God, that's not the way that police officers, that people approach me. I don't see that. That's completely different. What's the difference between me and him? And I don't go to drugs or anything like that. I don't start victim blaming. No, he was murdered in the streets. That's not right. And sadly, through all this, it may be more important things like technology, like cell phones and body cams, that end up making more progress than a lot of the conversations that you say, even though I think you're right. I think the conversations are vitally important, and that's what's ultimately going to get us. But in the past 20 years, this technology, I think, has moved that conversation forward quicker than I think it would have otherwise been. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I mean, George Floyd would have been swept under the rug, I think, unfortunately, in this country.
Yeah, they lied on the police report about how it really went down. And we know that cop convictions such as Derek Chauvin's is very rare. But, one of the things is the brutality of that death. And it was 9 minutes and 26 seconds and the whole world saw it, I think is what led to the conviction, because just based, if it hadn't been on video camera, we would not be where we're at. People would not be calling attention to Black Lives Mattering and all those other things. And like you said, you don't understand how it went political. And I just wonder how you politicize Black people begging for humanity. That's a part that I will never understand. We're begging for our humanity, and that has somehow become politicized just by saying that I want my life to matter. I want my family's life to matter. I want my friends' lives to matter. But when you think about it, you have to look, every time Black achievements are made, especially politically, there's always a white backlash to it. So look at what's taking place with the elections right now. And I don't want to, go down that rabbit hole, but you look at what happened, how Democrats, which are mainly associated with Black people, took the House, they took the Senate, and they took the White House. And look at the backlash to that. Look at the backlash to people exercising their right to vote. Now you're changing who can vote and all that other stuff. So you see these reactions to Black people, and we're 400 years into this. I really don't have hope. Like you said, you have to put your money where your mouth is as well. Don't have it be performative. When I saw baseball when I saw Boston Stadium have Black Lives Matter on it, I almost fell out. I just couldn't believe it, because Boston is one of the most racist cities out there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Major League Baseball has not been kind to me. I love baseball, but this is I talk about this all the time. How journalists of color are treated. How I'm one of the only Black women in that locker room, in that facility. How I'm treated. So we still have a long way to go.
There's no doubt about that. And baseball's got all kinds of problems.
And that's the thing. So
participation in baseball is just horrid. I don't know what the percentages are of just Black
9%.
Black players.
9%.
There's about
9%
70 Black players out of, I think, 352. There's 70 because I am writing for MLBro.com, and we cover the Black players in the major league. So it's about 70. And that is one of the lowest percentages of all time. So baseball has a lot of work to do. They need to clean up their own house before they get to talking some Black Lives Matter. But I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. So fellas, we have to take a break really quickly. I thank you for reflecting on George Floyd and what that means. And hopefully change is going to come. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Cleveland Indians and some news we just got not too long ago. So make sure you stay tuned. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Mayor Frank Jackson. Division of Police is accepting applications for patrol officer until Sunday, May 30th. A career in the Division of Police offers a competitive salary, great benefits, job security, and opportunities for career advancement. We are seeking a diverse group of young individuals who are motivated and who represent the people we serve and protect. To speak to our recruiting officer, call area code 216-623-5233. Again, it's 623-5233. You can also visit the City of Cleveland's website for more information. Thank you, and we look forward to receiving your application.
To submit your application online, visit governmentjobs.com/careers/Cleveland. This message is brought to you by the City of Cleveland and WOVU 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station. Hey listeners, here at WOVU 95.9 FM, we want to stay connected with you. So like our page on Facebook, which is WOVU 95.9 FM, or you can call our request line at 216-271-0959. Again, that is 216-271-0959. Also, don't forget to visit our website at WOVU.org. Keep it locked on WOVU 95.9 FM, a BBC community radio station.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. Remember, you can always give us a call at 216-271-0959. You can always listen to us online at WOVU.org, or you can download the WOVU app so you can listen to us on the go. And got a great show for you guys today. I got my co-host with me, Willie T, and we also have Chris McNeil from the Big Flog Replay Show. So thanks so much, fellas. We just got into a little bit about George Floyd and how it changed the sports world, but some news just broke recently, and it is not really good for the Cleveland Indians. So now they're just kind of going down like dominoes right now. So we have Franmil Reyes out. Who else is out for us? I can't remember. Chris, help me out.
Well, that's now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were down somebody else. I can't remember.
Trying to think right now on the roster. Don't have
Franmil, or you know what? No, we sent Tristan McKenzie back down. Somebody else hurt though?
He went down to Columbus on Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like somebody else is hurt though. I can't think of it right now. It'll come to me. I'll look it up. But thoughts about Zach Plesac being injured and how much of a blow this to Cleveland is right now?
So Zach Plesac got injured aggressively taking off his shirt. How fantastic is that? What exactly? Now talk about wanting cell phone video. I want to see video of him aggressively taking off his shirt and then hurting himself. I've heard some rumblings that it was over a video game too. It wasn't necessarily over his appearance on Sunday. And I was at that game too. He cruised through about 3 innings, and I was thinking we were going to see a no-hitter. And then all of a sudden, just crap hit the wall. And man, oh man, did he just fall off. And didn't give us, I think he went out in the 4th, so did not give us a quality start. And yeah, I don't know. That triumvirate now, you look back at him, Trevor Bauer, and Mike Clevenger. I mean,
Trouble. All trouble.
Oh my gosh, a lot of talent, but man, oh man, all of those guys, just constant idiocy. And this is just Zach Plesac. He went out a year ago, got into trouble with Mike Clevenger with the COVID stuff, was out partying or whatever else. Now this year, a year, almost to the day, I would bet, he goes and hurts himself. And we're already thin. We don't have a starter in like 3 of our next 5 games or something. Yeah. And Zach Plesac, who's now a veteran on this team, he's looked to be a leader on this team, goes and does something stupid like that. And now we're going to be relying on somebody out of Columbus. You know, we've already lost, like you said, Tristan McKenzie's Roberto Perez. There you go. And then the other pitcher, Logan Allen, we sent him down, the lefty. He's been gone now for a week and a half. So we are incredibly thin at starting pitching. So one of us might be making an appearance with the Cleveland Indians.
I was just about to say, I'm kind of waiting on Terry to contact me. I think
Rachel, how's your arm? You pretty good?
I ain't really throwing strikes. I'm throwing a lot of balls. But that is right in line with Cleveland Indians pitching right now.
Yeah.
I'm like Tristan McKenzie. You know, that's my boy, but I'm like him on Saturday, throwing a lot of walks. So they don't really need me, but it's almost like they might go into the office and see who played baseball. Like, remember that hockey game, that NHL game where like one of the accountants used to be a goalie and they're like, hey, come play. And I think he ended up winning the game. This was like last year or something. And he had a heck of a game. So it's like that. But you know, you mentioned Zach Plesac getting in trouble last year, and that trio and trifecta of those 3, they were kind of trouble, just very gifted, but kind of trouble. And I tell people, I mentioned the article about the Sports Illustrated article about Trevor Bauer, and it gives you a little insight into who he is and why he is the way he is. And I had wanted to talk to him about it, but he had got traded. So I didn't get a chance to talk to him about it because I went through a lot of the same things with like bullying and stuff like that. But you can kind of see how he turned out to be that way. Mike Clevenger, I think, kind of followed Trevor Bauer's lead, and Zach Plesac was following Mike Clevenger's lead. I had cut him a little bit of slack because he was young. I didn't cut Mike Clevenger any slack because Mike Clevenger is like 30. You know better. But Zach Plesac, you know, he's testing boundaries and all that other stuff. I didn't give him any more credit when he came out with that video. So I don't like calling athletes entitled. They kind of are. But you know that your fingers, everything, well, pretty much the arms are your money makers and they're essential to the team. So I don't understand why you're going to be mad taking off your shirt, why you're going to aggressively remove a shirt. I don't care how mad you are. We need you this season. Your team needs you. You let your team down. I equate this with stupid stuff like Trevor Bauer and the drone. I will never excuse that. Yeah. But when you know that your hands are almost about to touch a World Series, and I'm still mad about us losing that, and I kind of blame Trevor Bauer because he went 0-2, why would you do something like that? It's the behaviors. It's not taking accountability. It's not being careful. And that's the frustrating part of it because I don't know how long Zach Plesac is going to be with this team. And I was hyped because he was second. He was our second starter. I thought he had a lot of good stuff he showed last year, minus what happened. But this year it's been a shaky start, and I've had issues with our starting pitching. But I'm just like, how long will he be with this team for? I don't know if he's going to be with this team. Maybe after this year. I don't know. He's just troubling.
Well, Rachel, it's troubling for Indians fans, and I'm going to be talking about this on the next hashtag Brothers of Baseball show. Natalie Turk is going to join me, and she's going to have to continue to talk you guys off the ledge. But it's very troubling from a person that's on the outside of Cleveland looking in. And when you look at this at the team and understand that the strength of the team was the rotation, So now everybody else is going to have to step up. Jose Ramirez is going to have to step up. I mean, shout out to Luplo because he's been playing unbelievable all year. And I think they're going to really miss some of those veterans that they let get away due to the purses being so tight. But next, this is a classic indicator or a classic case of next man up. And hopefully for Tristan, because I like Tristan McKenzie as well. Sticks, isn't that what y'all call him up there? Sticks?
Sticks. I like to call him the Slim Reaper, but I know that one's already kind of taken. That one's already kind of taken, but I still love to call him that. I mean, he just strikes such a great pose, and he looks like he's about 12.
Yeah.
Okay. It's fantastic. He's one of I was rooting so hard for him. He came on just like on fire when he made his debut, and I thought, man, this is the next man up, and hopefully he's going to go down to Columbus, kind of figure it out, because I am really rooting for Tristan McKenzie. I love his whole thing.
And that's one of the things that sometimes we need to do, or I don't play Major League Baseball, and I don't think you two guys either. But that's one of the things that sometimes needs to happen is that they may need to go down in order to come back up.
Hey, he's a young guy. I mean, you look at what Corey Kluber's done. Heck, we thought he was washed. He kind of goes back to the Yankees. He's injured all the time, and then throws a no. Like, whoa!
Like, why did he do that when he was here?
Yeah, no kidding.
I was mad.
Well, to his defense, he did give you 2 Cy Young awards.
Yeah, 2 Cy Youngs aren't bad.
Yeah, I don't have a World Series, so it don't matter.
Rachel, I love you. This is fantastic. That's right.
Those Cy Youngs.
Just give me the chips, baby. Just give me the chips.
I don't care about that. That's great and all, but I want a world championship. I could care less. But I kind of think that the move sending Tristan down was good because you look at what happened with the COVID ravage. And you see that the young guys in baseball didn't get a chance to develop. And, he skipped the whole league. Now he's playing with the big boys. And there's mechanics and fine-tuning and stuff like that. And the youngest baseball players suffered the most in their development and where he needs to be and things like that. So, it was great, see what he can do. And now you move forward and, put him back down. And you think about there was no minor league system or anything like that last year. So I think it's a good move. Let him have opportunity to fine-tune his mechanics, locate the strike zone again, because usually it's just little things that they need to tweak. And he's so young. He's such a baby. He do need to gain about 20 pounds on him, though. I'm like, my dad always says, put some bricks in that pocket. He need to drink some milk and do some protein shakes. Put a couple pounds on him. But I think
that
overall,
might weight, Rachel, going 20 pounds.
I'm okay with like 20 pounds of muscle. I think that would be good for him. So
we're not talking going CC Sabathia. I get it. 20 pounds would be good on him.
Nah, man, not no CC, man.
Don't let him drink any dairy milk, though.
But wait, when CC went to the Yankees, why he lose weight? Why everybody want to do better with the Yankees when they leave us? Why did he get better and do better?
That's right. Go to the Mets and get worse. Like somebody I know.
Well, the Mets are coming on right now, though.
I know.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. So what do you think about, because we're going to head to break in about 2 minutes, but what do you think about Owen Miller being called up and what he did last night?
Yeah, so I saw his first, I was there on Sunday, so I saw his premiere when he went 0 for 5, I think, with 3 strikeouts. My God, he is a free swinger. He has not seen a high fastball he does not like. That's true.
But do you think they feel so much pressure when they get up in that debut, just like Bobby Bradley last year? Remember, everybody talked about him, and he got up here and he stunk it up. I think, Well,
the same thing, and they go up there and they want to make noise.
Yeah,
it's no fun if you get a walk. That doesn't help. You need to get on base with a hit, and I think that's kind of what was in the back of his mind. And you could tell, man, he was swinging out of his shoes, and it did remind me a lot of Bobby Bradley, the assassin. Hopefully, he'll be coming up from Columbus here soon. I mean, we're going to need some people to swing the bat, so hopefully, Owen Miller can be the guy. That would be fantastic. Bobby Bradley is the same kind of player, I think. The one interesting thing about Owen is he came up in high school, as a shortstop. So he could kind of play around the diamond and gives us a little bit more flexibility. So that, with his potential at the plate, could make for an interesting find for the Cleveland Indians in that trade. So
really see me, because I'm like, this defense they just awful.
Yeah. Oh gosh, it was driving me nuts. I coached my son's 10 and under league,
And
right?
everybody
And I
went
see
in.
better defense out of those guys. Like, I'm less nervous watching them out in the field than I was the Indians. Just little things, and you see it. The footwork's not there. Like when they're going to the bag and it's a tapper, and the pitcher's got to go to the bag to first base. It's just the footwork seems off. It just seems like everything that we do is just a little bit wrong, And our defense up the middle has not been strong at all, and it makes me very nervous, especially when you have a good pitching and you look for our pitching to be the real core of this team. They got to have a defense behind them. You got to give that confidence to your pitchers to know that it's okay if the guys hit a ground ball. Your defense is back there to help you out there. You don't have to strike out everybody. They're going to support you. And right now, I'd be real nervous if I'm taking the mound with that defense behind me.
Yeah, they were atrocious last year, and these are the things that always come to haunt us when you're in that playoff chase towards the end of the year. It's like it didn't get better, it got worse. And somebody took offense when I did ask him about what is going on with the defense. And he told me he didn't see it. I'm like, you sit closer to me? What do you mean you didn't see it? Then he wanted me to recall the exact play. Like, I can't recall. You got stats. Like, you can see there's drop balls. So, but I'm talking about Terry Francona. But that is something that this team needs to work on if they want to contend. There's so many issues and so many holes. And it's just like, I don't know what to do or say anymore because the injuries are piling up. The good players on your team are, you think about the games that Roberto Perez calls, the masterful games. So, we've done kind of okay, with him being out. And I'm just...
You're depressing me right here, Rachel.
I'm sorry.
You depress me. We did win yesterday. We eked it out.
Barely against the worst team in the AL Central.
Okay, yes, you're absolutely right. And,
we
did lose a series against the second worst, which is the Twins. So I'm trying to look on the positive. This is a new reflog, and this is a new me. I'm trying to be positive Indians fan here for a little while. We're still in May technically, so we're not even close to the All-Star break. So we still have some time. We got some young guys to come up, but yeah, in the back of my mind, everything that you're saying is absolutely right. It's like, and that stuff is going to come and get us eventually. It's like the boogeyman in the room. It's eventually going to get us.
And it's going to be the end of September tomorrow. Y'all know this year is passing fast.
But you guys could be like the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim with your best player out on the shelf for the next 7 weeks.
Who hurt?
It's true.
Mike Trout. He's out for a while. Yes.
Oh, well, that ain't my division. I don't care about that. Well, I want the best for Mike Trout, but that ain't my team.
Ramirez.
The game
protect Bieber. As long as
my team.
But the game needs him out there, though. The game itself needs him out.
I need a world title. We're gonna have to take a break right quick. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU at 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
Hello, this is Cecil Lipscomb with the United Black Fund of Greater Cleveland, coming to you live from WOVU. Here to talk about COVID-19. We're doing a panel discussion, the facts, your concerns, and our future. Let's talk about it. On the panel, we have Lavinia Hewing, a registered nurse, Dr. Gregory Hall, the founder of the National Institute of African American Health, First Sergeant Michael Johnson, Ohio National Guard, and the moderator, the one and only Kevin Chill Hurd. It's coming to you this Thursday, May 27th at noon. 1 hour and 15 minutes. That's all we need of your time. We know you've heard about COVID-19. We know that you've heard about information about this before, but guess what? Not like this. Come and join us. Hit the WOVU Facebook page. Also, you can hit it on UnitedBlackFund.org to learn more about how you join the Zoom call. It is a Zoom call, so we're going to see your face in the place. Thank you so much. See you this Thursday at noon.
This message is brought to you by the United Black Fund of Cleveland, the Greater Cleveland Association of Black Journalists, the National Institute for African American Health, and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
WOVU listeners, did you know you can call us during any live show? Did you know you can ask questions or give your comments live on the air? If you didn't know, now you know. Call the WOVU request line at 216-271-0959. Your voice is our request. No one says it like you. You're better than the rest. Call us 216-271-0959. 1059. Questions, comments, complaints. We want all that and the kitchen sink. This is WOVU. Our voices united. We can't do it without you. Call on through.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
Hey, yo, what's up? This is Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU at 95.9 FM. Remember, you can always give us a call at 216-271-0959. You can download the WOVU app, and you can listen to us online at WOVU.org. And we are also streaming live on StreamYard on Facebook. So I got some special guests in the house today. I have Willie Epteen from the Shake Back Sports Show with me, co-hosting. That's my boy. And then we also have Chris McNeil from the Big Play Reflog Show. So super excited to have you on, Chris. You're a great follow on Twitter. You crack me up. So super excited that you could be here in the huddle with us today. So what about just going back to the game really quickly against Minnesota? Max Kepler, man. That dude owns Cleveland. And then there was an entry on Trevor Bauer's Wikipedia page that said Max Kepler, owner of Trevor Bauer. It was so funny. It was so funny, man. That dude is a special player, and he just gives it to the Indians all the doggone time. But before we move on, what is the identity of this Cleveland Indians? Who are they as a team?
That's a tough one right there.
This is not pitching anymore, I don't think.
No, and I would say bullpen, but Karachek, boy, oh boy, he looked bad on Sunday. And we're going to lean on that bullpen an awful lot. I would say that's going to have to be our identity, is just, it's back to the days of, when we had bullpen backpack and we had the, what was it called? The
bullpenning.
With Vinny Pastano and group. It was the, and I can't remember the name. The Bullpen Mafia. Remember that? Where those guys kind of hung together and everything else. And that was really what we need, is we need a bullpen to really bail us out. Now that we have like no starting pitchers left, we're going to have to be big. And we're going to have a bunch of babies up here trying to hit the ball. So that's where we're going to rely. I've been surprised. How about Brian Shaw this year?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, everybody's favorite guy to beat on when he was in Cleveland, even though he had some good years, and I'm guilty of it myself. Heck, he was great to bang on for me. But he's done a great job. He's really turned things around for his career here in Cleveland this year, and it'd be nice. There's a good veteran, right?
Yeah, y'all talk about him.
The exact opposite of Please Tag right now. He's a guy who's anchoring his group, anchoring that bullpen out there, and doing a nice job. So that's where I think the identity's got to come from, veteran presence like that, rather than kind of the stupidity of taking your shirt off like some of the other guys who are hurling the ball for us right now. Right?
I have no words right now.
I know. Only in Cleveland, right? I mean, we always have some of the great injuries too. Do you remember Kevin Mitchell?
No, but what did Kevin
Mitchell was fantastic. He played for the Mets, and he was signed by the Cleveland Indians back years ago. He was a bigger guy. He could hit the ball, just tremendously talented, but one of those guys that didn't work at all, right? In the preseason or in spring training one year, he was out for like a month or 2 months because he had a problem. He was heating up a donut in the microwave. He didn't heat it all the way through, and he chipped a tooth. And I think I put him on the IR for like a month. I mean, that's so Cleveland right there.
Was it a stale donut? Because how was it that hard?
It was frozen. It was frozen. My God. And he went and put it in the microwave to heat it up.
That's gross. Who eats frozen donuts?
Yeah.
That's a man thing.
But guys, you know what's
thing? Oh, you're gonna blame men for that? Not just his stupidity. You're gonna blame all men for him trying to heat up a donut incorrectly in the microwave. That's a little rough there, Rachel.
You guys are so hard on your team, and you guys are banging on them so hard.
Right.
And they're only one game out of first place.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, in their division, yeah.
No, they're only one game out of first place behind the Chicago White Sox, who many people picked to win the division, including myself. So as long as the wins are being strung together, right? And all these injuries that you guys are talking about, they're going to rectify themselves before too long. I think Tristan's going to come back. Look, I'm like Natalie. I'm going to be the fans' savior for Cleveland Indian Nation. Hashtag our Cleve. I am going to be the savior of the people that want to just jump off the ledge with no cape, no parachute, no nothing. You guys are one game out of first place.
Nah, but optimism is saved for the Browns. Optimism always saved for the Browns. The Indians are just over there. No. They're eventually going to fold. That's what everybody says. So that's that's the way Cleveland is.
Well,
The first son is the Cleveland Browns. That's always going to be the pinnacle. Everybody else kind of comes second.
Well, I love them all, but y'all should know by now, if I ain't got a World Series, I don't care. And then secondly, they're not the number one team in baseball. So yeah, I get it. They're one, win out of the division, leading the division, but they're not the number one team in baseball. And anything less is unacceptable.
Oh gosh. Oh my God.
Go big or go home.
Yeah.
It's like me tomorrow. I'm going to win that lottery for the vaccine. So I'm going to get $1 million. You're lucky you got me today, because if it would have been tomorrow, I'd have been like, sorry, peace out. I got my money.
I tell my job, have a pizza party with my last check.
Right.
That's right.
I'll see y'all for again. So right now, NBA playoff, fellas. Pretty big upset. Well, I don't know if people would call it an upset, but we do a LeBron watch. And Chris, the thing is, now that I got a championship, championships mellow me out. So I wasn't as mad when he left the second time because he gave me a chip. So yeah, it hurt, but now it's just like, okay, you are from here, even though my producer will say he's from Akron. We know you rep Akron, but you're from Northeast Ohio. So now I want you to get as many titles as Jordan, because I'm sick of arguing with people and all they do is bring up titles. So I want him to get as many, if not more, and then come home and retire, whatever, as a Cleveland Cavalier. What are you guys' thoughts about this series that's taking place between them and the Suns?
Well, I'm a Laker fan. Let me go on record by saying that first and foremost. If Anthony Davis and LeBron James continue to have a combined point total of 31, and if Anthony Davis is on the floor, and when he's on the floor, the Lakers continue to be a minus 25. That ain't gonna happen.
What's going on there? I mean, what are you seeing?
It's
As
like
a fan who's followed this team very closely, what's going on there? I mean, there's got to be some inside knowledge you could drop on us, because that kind of stuff just kind of blows my mind.
I think it's the Lakers being the Lakers, because we've had this conversation about them really since LeBron got there, and really before he got hurt the first year he was there, it was the same questions. Now, I think some of them may have to do with the fact that they haven't really been all together. The chemistry so-called is not there. You saw how they played against Golden State. I'm telling you right now, if Klay Thompson would have been in that game for Golden State, the Lakers would be at home.
Yeah.
The Lakers would be at home. So they still have, from what I can tell, the thought process or the mindset that they can turn it on and turn it off. Well, they're missing some key players. They're missing some key players from last year's run. Rondo is in the other locker room in the same building. That's a huge difference maker. Okay.
Yeah.
And then say what you will about Dwight Howard, but he brought a level of something that Andre Drummond, that's y'all's guy, right? He was supposed to be the prize of the buyout market. But in the game against Golden State, I don't think he only played like 7 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's a stat sheet stuffer, is what Andre Drummond is. I mean, he doesn't. You look at him on paper, you go, man, oh man, this guy is a prize at times. And then you look, and the Cavs were losing by 20, and he has just a fantastic game. So he tends to get a lot of his stats in garbage time.
Yeah, I think that plus minus stat for basketball, I equate it to not hitting with runners in scoring position. What up, Francisco Lindor? I also equate it to football in terms of getting off the field on third down, or points off turnovers. So you can't have look, the Lakers have two of the best 7 players on their team in the galaxy. And if one of those players is not showing up, or is on the floor, but when he's on the floor, his team is actually losing points, I think it's a little bit between his ears. He need to get his big butt down in the post and dominate, because DeAndre Ayton now has confidence that he can stop this dude, and we know that he really can't.
Yeah, I will give AD credit though, because he did admit that he wasn't playing as well as he could at this point in the season in this series. So series has just got underway. Do they play tonight? Okay, yeah, they play tonight. So game 2 is tonight. But I can respect him saying that he needs to play better. And if he can acknowledge that and go out and do it, maybe the Lakers possibly might be able to turn this around. What's your prediction on the series? Because we're going to head to break. What's your prediction on this series?
I got the Lakers coming back to win it. I think they'll go. It's a 7-game series. This one, right?
Yeah.
I'll go Lakers in 7, and I'll tell you what. I'll give you LeBron with another 3 at the buzzer. How about that?
Ooh, where you see 3 buckets instead of 1.
Yeah, that's right. He's gonna hit the one in the middle again.
Well, Willie, we already know what you're gonna say, but go ahead.
Look, I'm so much of a fan that the Lakers have already dropped game 1, so I'm going to say the Lakers in a sweep.
Oh, God. Well, you know that ain't happening if Devin Booker and Chris Paul and the rest of them got something to say about that. I think it'll be a great series. Nate says Suns in 7. I'm going with Lakers in 7. So with that being said, we're going to take our last break. You are listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU at 95.9 FM, and we will be right back.
Attention Shaker Heights residents. The United States Postal Service is bringing a mobile unit every Monday and Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at 2855 East 130th Street in Cleveland. This mobile unit will offer services including stamps, package mailing, and money orders in place of the Shaker Finance Station, which is closed through October while enhancing security. P.O. Box customers should continue to pick up their mail at the Shaker Main Post Office at 3675 Warrensville Center Road, Mondays through Fridays from 8:30 a.m. until 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. The lobby will remain open for 24 hours a day. Once again, the United States Postal Service will use a mobile unit for Shaker Heights residents every Monday and Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at 2855 East 130th Street in Cleveland through October. This is brought to you by the United States Postal Service and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Life is starting to get back on track, and you can too. If you or your family have experienced financial hardship as a result of COVID-19, Tri-C can help with full tuition assistance. Safely get the in-demand degree or training you need with online and on-campus classes. Go to tric-edu to check out our programs and resources. So, what are you waiting for? Register now for summer classes. Tri-C is where futures begin.
This message is brought to you by Cuyahoga Community College and WOVU 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
Hey, yo, what's up? You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU at 95.9 FM. Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports. And I have my co-host with me, Mr. Willie Epstein of the Shake Back Sports Show out of Houston, Texas, right?
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas. You going to Houston, though, for Eric Nolan's concert. That's what I was telling him yesterday.
Yeah, you need to, did you take care of that?
I did. Remember, I had it on the calendar?
Yep.
And then we have Chris McNeil from the Big Play Reflog Show with us today. How you doing, Chris, man?
I am doing great.
Super excited you can join us. So it was funny because, Chris, let me tell you a quick story about how technology works, and it's really weird. So one of our co-hosts here is in the OJs. You know who the OJs is, right?
No,
you heard of them?
no.
Yeah, so they is like this old school group from Ohio, this R&B
Oh,
group.
okay. Yeah.
So from Cleveland, okay, you know what OJ is.
Yeah, I do.
So Willie, Willie, how did it kind of happen? So pretty much, let's make it short because we got some sports to get back to. Eric is going to be in Houston for a concert, and he told me to give him Willie's information so he can make sure he leaves some tickets in will call for him and his wife. So something happened, and I was texting with Willie, and I got something. Well, I think I was like, what did you say? Make sure you remind him or whatever.
Yeah, I said, make sure you give him my information because he promised 2 tickets for me and my wife. And he's like, yeah, we're going to be in concert in Houston. I'm like, well, I'm in Dallas. He said, well, drive on down. I'll make sure you have the tickets. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Be there.
So when he said, though, Chris, this was a freaky thing. When Willie said, make sure you remind him for me, all of a sudden I got a calendar notification on my iPhone that says, reminder for Willie.
Wow.
Like it just popped up out of nowhere. And I'm like, this is too much.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like
that's like Black Mirror stuff right there. That's
I said, did you send me a calendar invite? And he was like, no. I'm like, where did this come from? So the government is watching us all the time. I finally believe in that. I'm not crazy. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not part of QAnon. But something freaky is going on with phones.
I got the chip in my arm from the vaccine. So.
I did too. I got my second chip.
I got 2 of them.
Yeah,
we gotta win our $1 million here in Ohio. So we got
I know, man.
Ouchie.
I almost missed the deadline to apply too, so somebody reminded me and I did it. So we'll see what happens. But want to move on to football really quickly, guys. Cleveland Browns got some news out. Like we just can't catch a break right now. So there were some players at OTAs who have came down with coronavirus. So one problem that we thought had kind of went away in sports is materializing itself again. And fortunately, we don't have any games coming up or anything like that soon. We still got some time. But what are your thoughts about this making a comeback? And do you guys think that this stuff could possibly affect the NFL again like it did last year?
Oh, don't start thinking that way. Oh, you're killing me. Come on, Rachel. We can't be thinking that way. We're thinking about packed stadiums, about moving on. We're talking about the Browns being good. No, this
really
is
tell him. Let Chris know. Let Chris know about me.
Always negative?
No, not negative. I like to consider myself a realist about my Cleveland sports.
Yeah. You know your Cleveland sports. You know your Cleveland sports. You know the way it is. Always expect the worst. Hope for the best. Expect the worst.
I hate doing that, but I was mad at the NFL, and probably because we were the Browns and we hadn't completed our real, turnaround. That game against the Jets, how it was not moved, how other teams had games moved because our whole receiving core had.
We had no receivers. We had basically me out there running routes.
And I was running the ball by the rest of that day. But stuff like that, we didn't have the opportunity to have that game be pushed back like other teams did. So I have
when you're teaching an offensive lineman like a route tree before a game, that's not NFL. That's not the way the game's supposed to be played.
Yeah, where the quarterback meets, one of their linemen right before. I think that was the funniest line of all time. He was like, named Blake. But Joe Thomas was like, there was times when he had to introduce himself to some quarterbacks as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he went through like 24 quarterbacks. So
I know. He say, "Hi, I'm Joe Thomas. I'm going to be blocking for you today."
You imagine that as a quarterback. You're in there, just signed by the Browns. You're like the 4th guy on the roster or something in the depth chart, and you walk out there and, "Hi, I'm Joe Thomas." He's a Hall of Famer, and he's like, "I'm going to be blocking for you." Like,
I've never missed a down in my life. Come on in and play.
That was impressive. Almost 11,000 in a row. So what do you guys think about that? Because, one of the things is a lot of teams are having full participation with these OTAs, and the union is encouraging people to not do them. But my thing is
and who's the union president? And who's the president for the NLPA?
I know.
AC Treader right here in Cleveland, of course. So we're not going to do any of that. No.
I know, but it's like, But what do you think about that? Because like we're opening up against the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Kansas City Chiefs has almost full participation in these OTAs, and it's like, what do you guys think about that? Because if other teams are going above and beyond and showing they want it, shouldn't the Browns be doing that? Shouldn't the players be committing and wanting to do that as well to show, hey, we're in this. Hey, we want to be able to compete for a Super Bowl. We want to compete for the AFC Championship. Shouldn't the Browns be showing the same, enthusiasm for doing this, even if they don't want to, like other teams are?
I think.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think that it is important for the Browns to do just that and to have that mindset, because they're with the mindset that they have with this, it makes it seem like they've already arrived, and we both know, or we all three of us know, that that's not the case. Now, Kansas City, from what I've been told by Morris Claiborne, who won a championship with them. Oh, by the way, I hate the Kansas City Chiefs. That is like the most well-run organization in the NFL, according to what he said. So it's not surprising to me that they will be there doing what they need to do, because they obviously want to get back to where they were last year and the year before that. But in terms of what the Browns are doing, look, that's why they call them voluntary. I don't think that it should be that big of a deal made about it, but when you're talking about certain teams, I guess it becomes a big deal.
Yeah, because I'm just like, to me, it sends a message, and it's like, in order to be the road to the AFC, the road to the Super Bowl goes through Kansas City, and you have to be able to beat them. You have to be committed, and you have to buy in. And I understand it's voluntary, but it says a lot. But is that voluntary workouts, being a leader, showing these young guys how to win, because remember, this team didn't know how to win. It was little increments. They were able to pull out wins and games, something they hadn't been able to do. So you keep taking those next steps. If I'm Baker Mayfield, I'm there sleeping in the little camper that they running in Hard Knocks for OTAs. Like, I'm showing this team, okay, yeah, we almost beat the Kansas City Chiefs, but for a really bad defense. But I just think it speaks to the mentality, because championship teams, they're showing up early. They're doing the little things. And if the Browns want to be there, I believe that they should be at OTAs. I believe that Odell should be at OTAs. She should not be skipping. And I understand that they're voluntary, but I'm just thinking about what message does that send to you when teams aren't participating in things that can help them get better and learn this team. And remember, we have a defense that's completely brand new, and they need to gel together.
Well, yeah, and you couple that with the fact, Rachel, that, as you know, the Browns haven't won an opener since like the Bush administration.
Gosh,
right?
yes.
It's incredible to think about the last time that the Browns won an opener. So we don't have a good track record. The defense, we could be starting like 9 new players, 9 of the 11. I mean, it's insane to think about it. Now, we all expect that defense to be good, but they got to have some time together. You said it. They got to gel. They got to work together. You got to have Clowney on one side. He's got to get into the mode. You've got some young guys now in the secondary. That's all a lot of feel. It's a lot of, working off of each other, knowing what the other person's strengths are. The line's got to work together. The secondary's got to work together. The linebackers certainly do. So that concerns me. But hopefully when we look back at this season, we're not talking about OTAs and missing a few of those. Hopefully this team's going to be able to rally around and get past some of these things. I think the good teams like the Kansas Cities, the well-run organizations, are able to overcome things like this, whether it be COVID, whether it be OTAs not being able to participate, or whatever it is, and really focus on what matters. And like you like to say, championships are what matters, right? That's what we're in there for. So hopefully this team could kind of rally around that.
That's all I care about.
That's all Rachel cares about. I know that. I love that.
If it ain't title, I don't care about it. If it ain't orange and brown, I don't care about that. But, one of the good things is I think about preseason comeback. As much as I hate preseason, I think we saw how important preseason was last year with all the injuries, because you'd rather people get injured. But you saw going into the season how many people got injured because they didn't have those workouts during preseason and so many virtual things. So I'm actually happy it's back. I can't wait till the NFL goes to 18-game schedule. But that need for preseason is there, and I'm glad to see it back this year. Fellas, I want to thank you so so much for a great show today. Willie, I appreciate you as always. Chris, I appreciate you as well. You have an open invitation to come and get in this huddle anytime. Thank you so much for being here today. And it's been a blast, fellas.
Oh, this was fun. I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, I'm going to become one of your many, like, multi-hundred thousands of followers that you got here in a second, Chris.
All right. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, Chris is a good follow. All right. Well, it's about time for us to get out of here. You've been listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU at 95.9 FM. We are out of here.